Welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Tesla Family Talk. You're here with the Carl Father, Super Carl, and Carl Mack. We're here to discuss all things Tesla related. Is that a good enough intro?
Yeah, that was great, Scott. Oh,
What's on?
Carl. Carl. So the Scott's not your real name. That's just a fake name I made up for you.
You just said it again. We're gonna have to bleep those out. Oh, no one's supposed to know my real name.
You could
Really?
restart it.
No, it's fine. We'll continue with it. I don't care if people know my name.
So should I change it to Father?
Mine already says the Carl Father, Dad.
I know.
Oh, I should call you Super Carl. Okay.
So the big news with Tesla. The big news with Tesla, of course, is version 12.3.
Is it 12.3.1 yet, or is it still 12.3?
I think I saw some posts about the employees starting to get 0.1.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
I thought they were 12.4.
So well, they're working on
Maybe.
that, but both Carl Mack and Carl Father have Model Ys, and they both purchased full self-driving, and Mac has been kind of down on the whole software. Well, actually,
Full self-driving.
yeah. Well,
Carl Mack has been very skeptical about the use case of FSD and whether it will really end up becoming a robotaxi.
Right.
Am I right?
Because of the way it functions up until 12.3.
and I understand Carl Father also does not use it all the time too on the road. He only uses it on the road, right? Not in
The
town.
highway.
The highway. I only use it on main highways and thoroughfares. I typically don't use it on surface streets in the city.
Because it's
So
more trouble than it's worth.
version 11, right?
That's version 11.
Yeah, you're talking about version 11 because your Y is in New Mexico. And you have
Why? No, it's fine. Yes, my Y is in New Mexico. It is not here for me to experiment and play with 12
Yeah,
points.
he hasn't been able to download and experience it yet.
No, it's downloaded. I just haven't been able to experience it.
Oh, has the person driving
Spousal unit?
Has the spousal unit tried it yet?
I haven't discussed it with her, so it hasn't been eye-opening, but she typically doesn't use it on surface streets either.
So the only person in our group that's ever used it is
me.
Mac.
Yeah. And I think I was more skeptical about it than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By far. But I've had full self-driving since version 2.0 came out. Hardware,
yeah,
version 2.0 hardware.
You got it before I did. And we drive 2021 Model Ys about what, June version?
Yeah, without radar, but they have
ultrasonic
sensors.
Yeah.
But I think they don't use those.
Well, you don't think they're using them anymore? They are for parking because it still tells me distance.
Okay, so it is, well, is it telling you distance like it's an ultrasonic sensor, or is it telling you distance as in like,
No, it's like the ultrasonic, because my friends have the newer version and it doesn't do distance with the lines and the whatever.
oh, really?
Right. They do, like, you can see the objects instead, right? I
So it
believe,
is different.
I think it's, yeah, I believe it's different. I'll confirm it with her, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay. But basically, since you have 12.3,
Yeah.
you've noticed a significant change in how it acts on day-to-day driving in the city. And it acts like the way I told Super Carl, uh, it's like I don't trust it to make the right decisions. It
Correct.
makes it'll go off into a turn lane when you're supposed to go straight. Or this is version 11. This is before 12.3. It would make these weird juts, or like if you're going off on an off ramp, it'll go into one lane and then it'll merge to another one that you're not supposed to go into, and it just hesitates in certain circumstances, and it doesn't feel natural. And a lot of times if someone drives different, as long as they're rational and you can think the way that they're thinking, a lot of times you're kind of okay with them driving. But it's hard to do that with 11.0 because, well, I mean, you could predict the unpredictability of it. And it just wasn't worth the disengagements.
Correct. It was more of a pain.
Yeah.
So speaking of merging onto the highway, it's a lot better with this. Because the last time I talked to you two, I hadn't tried the highway yet. It merges onto the highway a lot better now.
So
It
you're
does.
saying, go ahead.
You used to wait, like, if I didn't turn on the signal, like sometimes even if I had FSD on, I would turn on the, turn signal to try to get it to go over sooner, because otherwise it would wait till the end of the lane to merge into, so it would just follow the road, right? And then merge at the last second, which is not normal.
So it's not doing that anymore.
Not
It's it's merging into it before the lines stop and the merge lane ends.
correct.
Okay, that's good. So
Yeah.
you're saying that at least the stack, because some people have said that they're still using the 11.0 stack for the
For the high,
highway.
yeah, which I'm not sure if that's the case. Maybe they have different information than I do, but it's definitely different merging onto the highway. You agree?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've noticed you feel more comfortable using it in the city now?
Yes.
Okay, great. No, I
Yeah.
mean,
So
go
have you
ahead.
used it?
There's still certain, the more I've used it this week, the more I've found a couple little weirdnesses in it, but overall, yes, it's better.
But is it consistent with the weirdness?
So far. One of them is if it turns, so if you're coming to an intersection and it turns yellow, oh boy, wait for whiplash, because it like hits the brakes and it's like, "Eh," and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not normal. But if you hit the accelerator, you can get it to go through. Yeah.
So let me get this right. So the the vehicle with version 12 wants to obey the law, but since you've never obeyed the law when the light turns yellow and you're supposed to stop and get out of the intersection.
Well, that's a judgment call,
It's a judgment.
Carl.
It's like so you're approaching the intersection, it turns yellow. It's like it's trying to decide what's better, right? Because you can feel it slightly hesitate for a millisecond. And the 3 times that we've encountered it, it's stopped really fast.
So it's braking, it's not
It's braking.
slowing down, okay.
It's braking and braking, and my tires actually squealed once. They
Oh,
broke.
wow. That
So-
much, huh?
Yeah, it's like hold on to your seats, like it's stopping.
Yeah,
That's dangerous. What if someone's behind you?
Exactly what I posted on X. So Lincoln Mob for, I don't remember his X handle, but he said something and I commented and I said, the one thing that's really I'm worried about is somebody rear-ending me. Because it's stopping so super quick on those lights. But I did get it to go through once. Like you hit the accelerator. And it goes through.
so that's called an intervention.
I would call that an intervention.
Yeah, I
Not
don't know.
necessarily a disengagement, but it's a
Some FSD drivers discern between whether it was an accelerator push versus an actual intervention where you pull it out of full self-driving. To me, that's more of a nudge. It's kind of like a half intervention. And what I've working with full self-driving, I tend to hover my foot over the accelerator.
yeah, I don't do it. I wasn't doing it as often with the 11 because I didn't seem that I needed to use the accelerator push very often, but this version is definitely more prominent that it goes below the speed limit. It takes corners pretty slow, which is fine if there's nobody waiting for you. And the stoplight was so yeah.
So they're playing it conservative.
Yep.
They obviously wait, what setting is yours in? Is it an aggressive
I
or
had
assertive?
it, I think I switched it to chill because it was doing something. Maybe it's because I have it at chill
There you
now.
go. Yep.
That
I
might be
would,
the difference.
yeah.
I'm gonna switch it back and see if I can get the lights to not do it that way anymore.
There's 3 settings, isn't there?
Yeah.
I had it in the middle previously. Whatever that middle one.
I've always had mine in assertive.
You have it at the very top. Mm.
Yeah. It's just because of merging and
See,
and
mine, I think it's because I don't like it on the highway. I don't like it. And maybe that, I don't know. I didn't like it changing lanes as often. So I switched it to chill, I think is why I did it. I don't remember why.
but there's no more phantom braking. There's reasons why it breaks.
I hadn't felt phantom braking in a long time, but I haven't been on a 2-lane highway traveling long distances in a while.
I can't wait until I get my car back.
Can you get?
Do you get phantom braking a lot?
You tend to get it on if you get it, you get it
Right.
on 2-way.
When I took that trip down to Moab, or no, it was on the way to mom and dad's, right? When we went on, the country, the 2-lane roads, when you would see like a truck or a box truck or something substantial coming towards you, that's when it would do the phantom braking. And I haven't done that in a while, so I can't comment on what version would fix that or not.
11 with that?
Well,
Oh my gosh, that was so long ago.
yeah, that's why I tend to cover the accelerator, because I got so used to having
The
the
phantom brakes.
the phantom braking that you have to have your foot ready to take over.
I haven't experienced those in a long time.
Yeah. I don't drive as much as I used to. So, but it's going to be interesting. But so on that point, I don't know if you saw that Tesla is supposedly not compute constrained. So that could mean one of what, three things. The neural net's easier to train. Two, they
Dojo,
got more NVIDIA chips in,
right?
or their NVIDIA cluster is performing at a better rate.
Right.
Or my speculation is that Dojo is starting to
Or a
ramp up.
combination of the,
Yeah, because the last time they announced when they had like 10,000 H100 clusters that they had received. And I haven't heard any big announcements of them receiving massive amounts of NVIDIA chips lately. So something has changed, because they said that they weren't going to be at this point until
later
what,
this
like
year, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
third, August or fourth quarter, August or later. And that's like a 6 months, increase in their timeline. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like that hasn't hit the stock. And it's like the little boy who cried wolf.
Right.
They've always been saying, oh, we'll get it in 2 weeks. We'll get it in 2 weeks. Oh, definitely by the end of the year. But now that they're actually performing, and 12.3 is performing good, and a lot of people like it, and then they're not compute constrained, everybody's like, okay, come on, really? Like, is this really the time? So I don't think anyone's really believing it.
Agreed. Agreed.
So,
Yeah. And maybe they think all of us Tesla people are just blowing it out of proportion. I don't know, but
We
I
might.
definitely wouldn't be saying it's doing better if it wasn't.
yeah, you were one of the few people that thought that FSD and robotaxis weren't coming for 5+ years.
Right.
But now that you've experienced 12.3, how close do you think it could be?
Ooh. Oh, I don't know. Like, it seems like, of course, because I'm not in a big city with big buildings blocking what are they, the BC pillars or whatever.
A and A, A and B pillars.
Whatever pillars they're calling them.
B pillars are the ones behind the driver
B
and
pillars.
yeah.
I think it would still, because of hardware, and Elon actually tweeted. I don't know what you call it anymore. Posted on X.
It's still a tweet. It's still a tweet.
Something about hardware actually does have limitations. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not. What was he saying?
He was commenting on somebody else's post about oh
The
shoot.
cameras are in the wrong spot. But
Yeah, cameras are too far back.
That there's limitations in the hardware.
Yes.
But
But yeah, go ahead.
Well, me and Super Carl over here were talking about that. If it's unprotected left turns, or you have a obstruction, you just avoid that intersection, or
Yeah,
you don't
go
take the
around.
left and you take a right and you do a U-turn.
Right, which I
So
hear it's doing really well with U-turns. Oh,
yeah,
and roundabouts are pretty cool.
really.
I've gone through a couple roundabouts, and I think previously I wouldn't even let it try. But I've gone through 2 or 3. That's pretty cool.
So are you actually going from point A to point B without intervening? You're not?
No, because this is what I do differently than other people. I don't just do it to claim that I did it. I'm
Yep.
correcting where I don't think it should be behaving the way it is. I correct it even though it can potentially do what it's doing and be fine. Like if I'm turning left, right, through an intersection and it's not going wide enough, I'm disengaging and saying it's not going wide enough. And then re-engaging afterwards. Because I want it to be correct. I want it to drive correctly.
Yeah. And
People
I think that's
need
the
to be
right
doing
way to
that.
do it.
Yeah. I think people need to be correcting it more than they have been. Just they just want to say they've had 0 disengagements, which I don't agree with that at all.
No, I've never agreed with that.
Yeah.
For years, they've allowed the software to make these crucial mistakes that, okay, the programming staff needs to know where it's screwing up. And if you continue to let it screw up,
Mm-hmm.
it's never going to know that that was an incorrect move.
That could be
So
why it's taking longer for it to learn things too, because people aren't correcting it when they should be.
supposedly we're going to be getting revisions really quick every couple weeks.
I,
And it's never,
I thought they had a whole bunch of professional drivers out there.
no, Dad.
Yeah, they do.
What do you mean a whole bunch of professional drivers?
They pay people to drive on the, yeah, they do.
Very few.
Are you talking about
Not
Chuck's corner? Chuck's blind corner or whatever?
Chuck's unprotected or the left turn.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of people out there testing that, but those are just edge cases they're doing that to. That's not,
Mm-mm.
what is mom
No,
doing?
they don't.
That good enough?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
All right. So anyway, no, I think there's not a whole slew of professional drivers that Tesla's paying to do this. That's the difference between Tesla and any other model out there. So we are training the model. Anyway, we can move on from there, but the fact that we're going to be getting revisions every couple weeks, it has never progressed at that rate ever before. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
correct. I agree. Like if they're gonna be rolling this out every couple weeks with corrections, that's gonna be amazing. I'm
yeah.
looking for that post Elon. I wish, I don't know how it's easier to find.
So anyway, we can touch back on that at a later date. However, what do you think? What are your thoughts? So long term, more bullish on FSD and the software. Okay, yes. Just like your eyes have limitations, the hardware has limitations.
Yep.
And it's working within those constraints and the limitations of your hardware.
Yep.
And that's awesome that they know that there are limitations, and then they can program in adjustments so that the car does not make those mistakes because of the limitations. Fair enough. But so long-term bullish on FSD, possibly robo-taxis, sooner than 5 years?
Sooner than I thought for sure. And the funny thing is, even though I've been very skeptical on FSD robo taxis, I've kind of speculated that they're holding off on the Mexico plant because they want just robo-taxis. Instead, they don't want to have to sell the cars.
Well, or they want the Texas plant to put steering wheels in it and the Mexico plant with no steering wheels.
Something like that, yeah. Because once robo-taxi comes into fruition, they don't technically have to sell any cars. They could
Nope.
keep them. But what's more beneficial in the long run, which that's kind of the YouTube video I watched from Brighter with Herbert with, I can't remember his name, but they were discussing the financial implications for both scenarios, selling and what accelerates the plan of getting more ICE cars off the road faster.
I mean, if they're pumping out millions of cars a year, that's a lot of cash flow. I mean, they would have to have a lot of cash flow to be able to support not selling any. But there's going to be so many companies that want to purchase that just to even make 10 or 20% margins on the car.
Yeah, fleet managers and
yeah. So long-term bullish on FSD, sooner than 5 years for you. Regulatory concerns, I could see it by 2026.
Yeah, I don't know how long that would take regulatory because right now the companies that are doing it are geo-fenced, right?
Say what?
They're geo-fenced.
Yeah,
They can only go in a certain area.
So they're getting the level 4 or whatever certification, but being geo-fenced. So I wonder how much the certification or whatever the legal to get it to be nationwide.
It might be just state to state at that point, but yeah, okay.
State to state, that would be interesting. That would not,
Well,
that would be interesting because then if you're going on a road trip and you're like, oh, I want to use FSD, that would be interesting.
But the numbers and the data will prove to the regulators that it works and that it's safer than a human by a large amount. And Tesla's not going to submit it for that until they're pretty much confident that it's better than a human driver, 10 times better than a human driver. So long term, that's probably going to take months to play out for full self-driving. That's one major catalyst that hasn't hit the stock at this point. Humanoid AI robots, we're not going to go deep dive into that, but that uses the same neural net and the same training compute that they are not compute constrained anymore, which has not hit the stock, and they have not released anything. Have we heard any news whether they're going to be a new release of any information anytime soon?
No, but they've talked about different job postings for these bots and not only for Texas.
Yeah, I saw that. They had at least 1 or 2 jobs to where their general manager or program manager for implementing robots
would have to travel, right?
Yeah, and would have to travel to multiple locations.
Uh-huh.
So it sounds like, but their primary duty would be Fremont. So that tells me that they're going to, if they have not already, they are soon to be implementing humanoid AI robots in their
Their
plants.
factories, yep.
I don't know any other company out there that is implementing humanoid AI robots inside of their factories. I have not like really implementing them now.
No, I know
Have you?
Amazon has some bots for
Well, they
picking.
have a lot of, okay, like
What-
AI.
Hmm, I
what-
don't know.
What, humanoid robots? No?
Well, they have their, yeah, well, their knees bend backwards, but they're bipedal and with two arms.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
humanoid robots, that's none of that has been figured into the stock. But the big question is right now for the next quarter is numbers of how many they produced and sold and what the financials look like in the quarter. And I have a feeling that they are not going to meet expectations, and that's going to play negatively in the stock over the next couple weeks.
yeah, that was my thoughts too, but then I was reading some posts on X from somebody else that's saying that people are already expecting it to be low and it's already factored in. I don't know.
You would have expected analysts to lower their price target or their targets, and they haven't.
Oh,
I think some of,
Troy Teslike, from what I understand, is saying that the numbers are going to be a lot less than what the street is expecting.
yeah, somebody is estimating 416,000 deliveries.
Yeah. And that would be less than what they produced last year, first quarter, correct? You're still muted.
yeah,
Yes, it
last
is.
year was 420 something. 400
Yeah. Yeah, it was less than 2% under.
Huh?
I think it's less than 2% under quarter over quarter.
So I don't know. I think there's still some rough times ahead for the next couple weeks. And it's sitting at what, 170 right now?
170.
If you're looking at technical analysis and looking at the chart and you look at a 30% drop from the moving average, you're at about 145 a share. So give or take a few here or there, you could possibly see a move down to 145. 145, I think, is it might go a little bit lower, but at that point, your risk to reward. But I haven't sold a single share, and I'm not going to sell a single share.
Me neither. And here's my thoughts on that is if we keep rolling out improvements to FSD and, as we're waiting for those numbers to come through, are people going to start realizing what FSD is doing and counteract the negative numbers?
Maybe it could just be one of those flash in the pan type of a things. Oh, negative numbers, and then goes straight back up. Especially if we get any sort of announcement, like you're saying, 12.4 release, and it's even significantly better. And they highlight the humanoid AI robot. and this or that, but yeah, I don't know. I could see it going down 140, 150. But I think at that point your price to earnings ratio is what, like 30? Something like that. I think it's trading at about a 40 right now. And that would be fairly low. And at $100 a share, I think it's a price to earnings ratio of like 20. And that's just insanely low. But I don't know. Any other catalysts or anything that you're seeing or that, people aren't seeing?
There were 400 cyber trucks on site Friday.
Really? I hadn't heard 400.
Somebody counted them was over 400. Yeah, Joe Tetmeyer or whatever his name is.
I don't think he counts them.
No, but
No, but people that watch his videos do, I think.
yeah. I mean,
There are a lot.
There were gobs of them.
Are we like 300 to 400 a day at $100,000 at least for each truck?
And that's
That's
full
crazy.
self-driving and the accessories baked in. Their margins on those are going to be insane. Well, we would hope, especially as they ramp. It'd be interesting. What?
Their overhead is going to be pretty substantial for the first bit of time, first couple quarters. Because
But it's going to.
They're spreading it out over fewer.
I know. Vehicles. Yeah. But the interesting thing is I wonder if they're going to tell us break out the Cybertruck.
I don't think they're going to, and that's disappointing. But I think they want to keep it a secret as long as possible, right?
Yeah, speculation. This whole XAI, and there's been rumors that they have to raise billions of dollars. I'm wondering if they're planning on putting a proposal to Tesla shareholders to purchase a certain amount of XAI with free capital from Tesla and buy a portion of XAI. And the lower the valuation of Tesla or some sort of merge, but I wonder if the valuation of Tesla being lower would, I don't know, it's going to be interesting because Elon owns a significant amount of XAI. And that might transfer to giving Elon a certain amount of shares of Tesla at a certain price for XAI.
So isn't Tesla developing their AI for their robotaxi in-house? They're not using XAI, correct? I mean, what do they need it for? Don't they have software engineers that are doing this?
There's not a lot of information out there on XAI that I've seen. Have you seen? So I'm just wondering if this is going to be another Solar City deal where they try to acquire XAI and then Elon has created this other entity that gets consumed by Tesla. But there's going to be so much scrutiny on that I don't think that that's going to happen. But that was my speculation, is that they're going to try to acquire a certain percentage of XAI underneath Tesla because they share employees. Employees go back and forth between Elon's companies all the time. Which is kind of interesting. And I don't know how that works, especially considering that Tesla's a publicly traded company.
So it's the same software engineers are working for both?
I don't know. I think I think he would have to separate it because you could run into the issue of shareholders of Tesla saying, hey, look, if you're sharing Tesla employees with another company that Elon owns, wouldn't we just, and that's why everybody wants one parent company for all of his endeavors.
Really?
Are you talking about all of them?
SpaceX, Neuralink,
SpaceX,
Boring
Neuralink, Boring Company, XAI, and X.
did they start drilling yet? didn't,
Not
did
that
they?
I've seen.
That's a bummer.
He's ready.
Does he fly today?
No. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
Okay. So we're going to get an update tomorrow from Joe Tegmeyer.
Yeah. He usually flies
kind
in the morning, but it takes him most of the day to
Edit.
put it together.
Yeah. I mean, he narrates that thing and gives you one nice tour of the facility. But it's going to be interesting how that plays out. But I think short term, there's definitely going to be some volatility, and you could see it going down to 140,
My
145.
my prediction, my prediction, I would say by the end of, well, I'm not gonna say the second quarter, I would say by the end of August. They're gonna have the tunnel done. They're gonna have the vehicles manufactured. And they're gonna autonomously drive from the manufacturing floor through the tunnel over to the new outbound lot or the new, facility over there. And they're gonna park at the charging stations. And the Optimus is gonna plug them in. No employees.
How fast can they bore those tunnels?
It'll be done in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, they said I think they tunnel almost as fast as a snail. So
To
how
me, that
fast does a snail move?
They,
fast.
0.03 miles per hour, a garden snail. Or 153 feet per hour. Holy crap.
Wow.
Are you
That's
sure?
gonna be fast.
150 feet an hour, but I've heard estimates, I think Joe has said this on his videos. That it's only across the road, so it's
a couple hundred feet, but I think, yeah, I mean, it probably a week or two.
yeah, and then the speculation is that there's might be more than one tunnel.
Oh, you
Two
know
and
how
from?
they have, well, I'm thinking one tunnel, but have you noticed how they built all the building and then there's an open section between the two buildings?
They
I
are
bet they have.
speculating it's gonna come up into the.
Yep.
Yeah, Joe said that
That's-
on one of his most recent videos that they think it might potentially come up into the factory.
that will make sense because they have, I mean, why else would they build the building the way they did and leave all that room between the buildings? Because they're going to have to pull the tunneler out. So because they've attached the building on that side closest to the tunnel, I think it's going to come up into the building.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting.
And so you're just going to see cars flying out of that back,
The
out
other
of
side.
that tunnel.
You know, yeah,
Yeah.
the tunnel, yeah, right, yep.
Yep. Straight into the supercharger and then be plugged in by a humanoid AI robot. Or instead of, because what they're doing right now is they're having to shuttle all these people. What they could do is, if they have two tunnels, is if they're still using humans, send the humans back on like a
Conveyor belt.
ski lift. Yeah, like a conveyor belt or escalator or something.
Well, the loop in Vegas doesn't use humans, right? It's autonomous, isn't it?
Oh, it's still humans as far as I know.
Do
Have
they
they
have
changed
humans
it?
in the cars?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was not. They didn't have humans.
Too much in that ecosystem to follow. I don't follow the Boring Company as enough as I should, as much as I should. But I don't think they're autonomous. What
Oh.
are you shaking your head?
I'm just thinking of things. I was thinking Neuralink there for a minute too. Like
Well, that was interesting that they implanted it into a quadriplegic, and he is now able to function and move a mouse and plays chess and stuff.
Yep. And plays, what is it, Civilization they said he played?
Civilization 6.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So technology's moving at a rapid pace. And then Kathy Woods was saying,
Hockey stick,
you and the damn hockey stick. So she was trying to ruin my train of thought here. She was saying that we're in a different revolution. So we're in the AI revolution. We are transitioning from the industrial revolution with a average GDP of around 3%. And they're speculating that the AI revolution will take average GDP to 5 to 6%. And that's a significant advancement in productivity. I think if you look at Nvidia stock, that's exactly what I think Tesla's going to do, but more violent. Yeah, like that. You wake up one day and
hockey stick,
I just wish the solar roof was more prominent. I guess I don't understand why that didn't take off. If I had the money, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
I think it was the installation.
The difficulty of installing them because of the shapes of the roofs.
Yeah. You don't hear anything about the solar roof anymore.
I mean, a good idea, but mechanically it doesn't work, or
It's expensive, so no one's installing it. They haven't been able to reduce the cost enough to
Until the
make it
bots come into play.
right, because then you're going to have humanoid AI robots installing the roofs on your
At least
house.
helping.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's Is there anything else we haven't touched on?
Supercharging?
Oh, well, I don't know. What about supercharging?
It exists, excuse me.
It exists. Ford has access. Rivian has access.
Rivian? I just don't know. There's a lot of people who think that that's going to make a huge difference in the bottom line of Tesla, and I just don't see it.
I don't particularly see the bottom line of Tesla helping, but the acceleration to have people adopting EVs, and not just necessarily Tesla, but EVs in
Yeah,
general.
I think it will. I think it does.
Mhm.
It'd be interesting to see what their sales rates are now that they're able to use the supercharger network.
Well, they just started.
I know.
I'd be
We'll
more
see
willing
what.
to buy a non-Tesla, not that I would, but I would be more willing to buy a non-Tesla if it had the supercharging network of Tesla.
I heard a
Yeah.
story that, were you guys aware that VW was ordered by a settlement of their Dieselgate thing, that they were supposed to build out $2 billion worth of electrical superchargers?
Not superchargers, but charging stations. Yes,
Charging, yeah,
they've already spent it, Dad.
elect
That's
or something,
Electrify America.
and they're lousy.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
they are.
lousy. I watched a cool video on Dieselgate. I did not know the extent of all that. That was eye-opening.
Yeah, I mean they built it into the software.
That and all the multiple companies that were involved. I didn't realize it was like the major 5 German manufacturers that were in on the whole thing.
It was more than VW?
I don't
Yeah,
know
probably
more than
Audi,
Audi,
Porsche.
yeah. I don't know if they all had the same software to fake the emissions, but they were all involved with the whatever the injection. They didn't want to put the bigger tanks of the, I forget what they call it, the something blue that injects the chemical into
The
the
DEF,
pipe,
diesel exhaust fluid.
yeah, to reduce the emission problems.
Yeah, I mean, I just all these people who think that gas is still the thing. Like, I have diesel buses and vehicles drive by me downtown, and I choke up when they drive by me. Why do people want bad air being spewed out into their living space?
They're not educated enough. They don't understand. I
Well,
think it's about
they're
education.
they're used to breathing lousy air, I guess.
Yeah, change and lack of knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a matter of time. Batteries, 4680s. Um, it's
They're going
interesting. I think,
fast.
yeah, I think they're going to start ramping at a faster rate now. They're still on the one line, correct? Or are
I
they on two
don't know
lines?
much about it. I just know that they hit a run rate of 1,000.
Cybertrucks, equivalent of 1,000 Cybertrucks a
Yeah,
week. Some people are
but that's a
speculating that they're,
week.
yeah,
That's not like they're pumping out 300 to 400 a day.
No, well, that was one day.
that's just on the lot.
Right,
I don't think they're making 300 to 400 a day. I think they're a couple hundred at least a day.
we shall find,
But
we shall find out. third week in April, right?
Will they give details of, will they break out Cybertrucks in the,
I don't know. I think they should, and I think if that number's good, I think it would be a bright spot on the earnings call. Or if they give us the delivery numbers, a week from now? If they give us the Cybertruck deliveries on that date.
yeah, instead of clumping it with the S and the X?
Think that would be the only bright spot that might stimulate the stock in the before earnings.
Especially if it's competitive with what Rivian and the Lightning.
Yeah. If they've already delivered over 3,000 Cybertrucks, that would blow people's minds.
What
and
is the delivery rate of Lightning?
The F-150s did Ford sell last year?
You said F-150.
Oh, shit. How many Ford Lightnings were sold last year?
24,000 Lightnings, according to AP News.
Just over 24,000.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, they're talking
So
of 50,000 Cybertrucks this year, aren't they?
the Bulls are. I'm thinking, I think we're at 600 a week times what
52.
about what? Well, 52.
It's,
That would be 31,000.
yeah,
So maybe 25,000. So maybe we would tie or just slightly better than Lightning.
yeah,
Delivery?
I think but that's probably, yeah, it's going to go up from here.
That's true.
you're
As long as the batteries can keep up, right?
you're assuming the Lightning sells as many this year as last year.
They did say they were reducing that, didn't they?
Well, the lots are full of Lightnings and the factory stopped producing them. So Tesla will probably sell more Cybertrucks than Lightnings this year. But will they sell more than 24,000? Yeah, I would assume so. But if they're producing an average run rate of batteries at 1,000 a week times how many, okay, 52 divided by 4, 13.
9 weeks left at least.
Minus 52, 39 times 1,000. Yeah, that'd be 39,000. They could produce at this rate of batteries. If they don't increase their rate of batteries, they can produce another almost 40,000 Cybertrucks this year.
Really?
Yep.
That's good news.
So I think, and they're supposedly going to be bringing up a few more 4680 lines at Texas here in the next
And
couple
Nevada, right?
months. No, Texas.
I
They
thought
are.
were- Oh, but they are building the building to do it in Nevada. They haven't even got
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but they're putting in, supposedly they'll have 8 lines for the 4680s by the end of the year.
Really? And we only have one right now?
1 or 2.
So that means they're planning on switching the other cars eventually.
Don't they have the
The
semi?
Model Y.
Are they putting 4680s in the semi?
What's that?
The guy that does the semi videos posted something about frames, axle housings, and leaf springs. Whatever that is.
Suspension.
Some about the production at the Nevada plant is kicking into gear for semis.
Well, each semi sold is going to equate to about 5 Model 3s.
Do you see the
It-
size of that footprint that they're building for the semi truck? It's massive.
For
Well,
the
is it,
plant, Nevada?
Yeah. Yeah, this
are
guy,
they building a new building?
yeah. Yeah, the building that they've put the foundation, the.
I thought that was for the battery. Isn't that for batteries?
Don't think so.
So I haven't watched Giga Nevada. Are you talking about an extension to the already existing plant or a new plant?
I think
New
it's a new
buil-
plant.
New building,
The new building, I think, would be semi truck. That's not battery.
yeah,
Oh, really?
semi trucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's,
Yeah,
I mean, it looked like a pretty big footprint when he just had a video out here this week, I think.
okay. Well, interesting. But once they start building this, the semi, each semi is going to be equivalent of like 5 Model 3s to the bottom line. And I think they're probably planning on producing around 100,000 of those a year, which is another 500,000 cars, revenue wise. So I don't know too many analysts that are actually calculating that in.
the semis. No, I don't
Yep.
hear much talk about semis at all.
The speculation is they're going to build not the long range semi, but the
The short range.
short range.
And they're partnering with some companies to test it out.
Right, so that they can charge every night at their home location.
So 350 miles of range for the mid-range semi truck,
Yeah, so
approximately.
it's coming home to the warehouse or whatever every night, or the factory or something.
Yeah, so like a delivery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so then they don't have to build out the infrastructure for the long range semis. I mean, that will take a long time.
Yet, yeah. Yeah, that'll take a while. Short range seems a little bit better in the short run. For getting things out. And functional.
But it's going to be interesting. They've supposedly slowed some of their car manufacturing in China and all this. I'm wondering, they have all these batteries coming in. I'm wondering how fast energy is ramping. Because if energy is ramping and they're sucking up all those cells
Batteries.
from all the batteries from the automotive section and putting them into energy storage has a larger profit margin than the cars.
Plus the software side of it, right? Their auto bidder, no.
Yeah,
What?
you don't get too much data on the auto bidder software, but it'd be interesting if how much money they can make on the auto bidder side. Anyway, I think we've talked quite a bit. I wonder how long this recording is. And would there be anyone still listening? If you're still listening, tell us below and use the secret word Carl.
Carl, the secret word.
Yep. Carl.
And you'll send them.
Say,
So what do we
we
do?
hear you loud and clear, Carl.
What do we do with this video anyway? Okay, I have it recorded on my computer, but it's a huge file, man.
Your computer's gonna crash. We'll upload it to YouTube. I wonder if we can upload it to X. But I'll
No.
try to upload it.
No one's gonna listen to 45 minutes of us, man.
Hey, you never know. We'll just have to
Never
get a
know.
splashy like title page. And
You're in charge.
I listen
Okay.
to some random people's videos that are pretty long. Like I watched this one video of some guy, just some random guy that he had a solar salesperson come to the door and they didn't realize he already had the Tesla solar, so he then after he got done explaining the solar and the power walls or whatever he had, he also talked about FSD with this lady and actually took her on a FSD demo and recorded the whole thing. That was pretty cool.
People watch some random stuff, man. You never know. But I mean, this conversation isn't that far off track. Some of the other conversations I hear on YouTube. Honestly, I think it's a little bit more condensed and broad, a larger, broad information about what is going on in Tesla instead of these hype trains that all these other influencers are on. It just seems like hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many of them.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be one of them.
I hope not.
Well, I'm gonna stop the recording here. So
Okay. Have a great day.
thanks for watching.